The Golden Madonna of Essen is a sculpture of the Virgin Mary and the infant Jesus. It is a wooden core covered with sheets of thin gold leaf. The piece is part of the treasury of Essen Cathedral, formerly the Church of Essen Abbey, in North Rhine-Westphalia, Germany, and is kept on display at the cathedral. Dated around the year 980, it is both the oldest known sculpture of the Madonna and the oldest freestanding medieval sculpture north of the Alps, and is also one of the few major works of art to survive from Ottonian times. To this day it remains an object of veneration and symbol of identity for the population of the Ruhr Area. It is the only full-length survival from what appears to have been a common form of statue among the wealthiest churches and abbeys of 10th and 11th century Northern Europe. Some of these were life-size, especially figures of the Crucifixion. The statue is dated around the year 980 and was thus created during the tenure of Mathilde, a granddaughter of Emperor Ottonian, as abbess of Essen Abbey. Under her reign and those of her successor Sophia of Gendersheim and Theophanu, the abbey acquired what is today considered the most precious of the works of art of the Essen treasury. The creator of the sculpture is unknown, but it is generally presumed to have been crafted in either Cologne nor Hildesheim. Hildesheim is home to a Madonna slightly younger than the one in Essen, while Cologne seems more likely as the home of the artist since the folds in the Madonna-esque gown resemble those of the Cross of Otto and Mathilde dated 982, which is also part of the Essen treasury, but was doubtless created by a Cologne goldsmith as it shares many features with the Giro crucifix of Cologne Cathedral. Mary is depicted sitting on a stool, with a slightly oversized Christ child figure sitting on her lap. She wears a tight, long-sleeved tunic and a cloak drawn over her shoulders. On her head she wears a veil, the ends of which are covered by the cloak. In her right hand she holds aloft a globe with her thumb and two fingers, while her left hand supports the infant in her lap. The Christ figure himself wears a pontifical gown, and presses a book against his breast with his left hand. The statue measures 74 centimeters in height. The pedestal is 27 centimeters in width. The core of the sculpture was carved from a single piece of wood, most likely from a poplar tree, though earlier art historians have assumed it to be pear, plum or lime. The sculpture's surface is entirely covered with sheets of gold leaf less than 0.25 millimeters thick, which are held in place by minute golden bolts. The size of the individual gold leaves varies to suit the surface texture. The faces of both mother and child are pounded out of one single leaf each. The colored eyes of the figures are made of CLISONNA copyright enamel, while the eyes of the mother are inset into carved fittings. Those of the child are merely pasted on the wooden core. The children's hand is made of cast silver and was added only in the 14th century. The original right hand is lost. There are traces of original 10th century adornments on the orb in the Virgin's right hand, on the right back leg of the stool, as well as on the child's book and halo. The agrafe showing an eagle and seemingly pinning Majoresque cloak is an early 13th century addition. The fibula beneath has Gothic features and is dated to the 14th century. The Madonna was first restored in 1905. By then the statue's core was riddled with woodworm tunnels and threatened to collapse. The restorers carefully wrapped the statue in a plaster cast, insufflated the cavities to remove bore dust, impregnated them with insecticides and finally filled them with a mixture of glue, chalk and water, turning the figure around repeatedly in the process so as to reach every nook and angle. The surface holes were then sealed with bolts of oak. The restoration cost a total of 3,200 gold marks, part of which was paid by the Prussian state.